Da-da-da.
Nice.
All right. Hello, everybody, and welcome to a live session on introducing the world's first search engine for finding leads. Slightly different experience than your typical one, where you log in into some sort of major database out there in the world, you do some stuff, or you do some other crazy stuff. But we built something really cool for folks out there to be able to search leads just like they would do that in the world of Google, ChatGPT, Perplexity, etc. And that's exactly what we're going to be talking about today. How we've built it, what happened over the last few months, what's coming. We're going to do a live demo. We're going to take questions. We're going to do a lot of cool stuff here during the session. But before we kind of go into kind of introduction, etc., what I would really love for you guys to do is if you're just going to say where you're from, essentially what's the city, maybe a country that you're from, what is it that you're doing, whether you are a growth head of growth or an agency, or what is it that you are. Because what we're going to try and do is we're going to try and tailor some of the stuff that we're going to discuss today, whether that's a demo or other things, so that's a lot more interesting, guys, for you to follow. And then what we're going to do is at any moment, whether you want to ask now or later on, once you're going to see some stuff in front of you, feel free to ask any questions. And then we're going to take live questions literally to the stage. We're going to take live questions to the stage, and we're going to answer those. That's what we're going to do. So without further ado, let me do a quick intro. So I'm Frank Sanders. I'm the one of the co-founders here at the Forge. So we have a bunch of other products. Maybe some of you know, whether that's Salesforge, PrimeForge, InfoForge, you name it, a bunch of other products. And one of the key products that was really missing is finding the leads in the easiest possible ways that would match against your ideal customer profile criteria. But instead of building the typical database, we decided that it has to be a significantly better experience, and that experience is more of a search experience. I kind of took that idea from my old days being in Google, where it was all about search, supply and demand, CPCs and a lot of stuff. And it's a very similar landscape right now in the world of data, because there's like hundreds of data vendors, but you're really looking for the best data out there in the world, and you're not really sure in which database you have to go into. So then the aggregation concept kind of came to mind, just like in this case of Google. And that's why we built Leadsforge, the first search engine in the world to pull data across multitude of databases and display that data seamlessly within the UI, and to help increase lead coverage, increase quality, and decrease cost, because there's typically a lot of margin built in by those databases. But when you do aggregation, actually you're able to pull actually significantly cheaper data at significantly cheaper rates. So yeah, and then I brought in also Aquila. She's going to introduce herself in a bit. Aquila does a lot of stuff, cool stuff here at the Forge. I call her the grandmaster, the blacksmith of the Forge. Aquila, over to you. Please do introduce yourself.
Hi, everyone. Super nice to meet you all. My name is Akivita. I'm part of the go-to-market team here at the Forge. Yes, I do lots of different things. I'm super excited to share what we have built. And yeah, please ask many questions, participate, and it will be a fun session, we promise.
Yes. Cool. So if somebody doesn't know what are we talking about here today, feel free to go over to leadsforge.ai. So we're going to share my screen right now, and we're going to literally go through just a kind of simple kind of demo version of Leadsforge. So a lot of you can do that, but naturally we're just going to go through ourselves. So I'm going to just click on present, share my screen, and gonna go straight into Leadsforge. So if you're gonna go into Leadsforge, you're gonna see this beautiful lady on the right-hand side. His name is Vicky. You can call us at any time. But really, this is the experience you get. I'm kind of zoomed in a bit. This is the typical page that you get. And you can literally search for anything in the search already on the site. It kind of potentially reminds you guys products like Lovable and a bunch of other products like ChatGPT. You can just go and start typing. And as you can see, we have literally over 500 million contacts that we're currently searching across to find really the best possible leads against your ICP criteria. So you can either type, but naturally I already have an account. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to log in, and naturally you do get 100 credits. So each of you kind of play around with the tool. So that's exactly what I'm going to do. I'm going to log into Leadsforge, hits the Forge, and boom, it says, "Good afternoon, Frank," because we are based in Europe, for all of those you across the pond. The look and feel is also, I guess, a bit similar to ChatGPT. So you can see a lot of sort of searches that I've done on the left-hand side. You can see anything around sort of help and FAQ settings, a bunch of other things. But really, just like you're looking for leads against your ICP, this is exactly what you want to sort of type in. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take one of the specific ICPs that I could guess we could target ourselves. We have quite a huge market where we could go literally after millions of businesses in B2B. But I'm just gonna type in say head of growth in tech companies in the US, right? Just like you would type in ChatGPT, and this is something that I used to do as well. And I'm just trying to find some stuff, right? So
Okay.
so
One note,
yeah.
you're not sharing the right screen.
No, I'm
So
not
yeah,
sharing that.
switch.
Sorry, my bad.
Yep,
Somehow
yep,
it
no
didn't
worries.
transition. So rookie mistake here. So let me then go over again, guys. So on the left-hand side, we have some, bunch of different chats that I had. We have help FAQs. We had settings section, other forges that you can explore later on. And in the interface here is you can just type in, anything around, the ICP really that you're looking for, right? So just always follow the kind of guidance from the interface. So just type in here, head of growth in tech companies in the US. You just typing that in, and you can just click on enter, and then boom, and then it goes and searches that for you. And you can see how fast we have found it. So for some reason, head of growth in tech companies in the US, it only finds one. So I think I typed in something different. Let me just quickly check what. So you can also check the filters like head of growth, US, this particular industry, tech companies. So I think I kind of narrowed down a fair bit. So if I would remove the tech companies there, then boom, it finds literally the titles that would say head of growth across tech, information, and industry. So you can also go to like a full-on table experience if that's sort of easier for you. Some people really want to do that, and you can see that there's a ton of different leads. You can check out the LinkedIn profiles, right, to see whether these are really the ICPs that you're looking for, whether this is what's called fresh data or not. You can also see a bunch of other kind of stuff. It's like company, contact location, where's the headquarters. So you can naturally find that. I'm going to show you that in a bit. You can also check, whether it's really the right industry. Sometimes you are searching across multitude of industries, so you can also do things there. Keywords, right? So you can also kind of enter different keywords. So we look for company description. What does it say in the description? And then you can look for company size, something that we have not optimized, revenue, and how many years has this company been in business. So yeah, that's what you can do. Is not actually you can refine that. And let's say in our case, we don't really target companies beyond 500 employees. So this is what I would say. Okay, now I would love to select all those companies up to 500 employees, right? And just you type in, essentially, you're refining the search. Um, and then the search has reduced. So we had like 48 ideal customers, and now we have 33, right? In that particular industry that we're searching for right now. So 33 sounds like for some people, it would sound like a little list, but that's because we have targeted specific industry that has to do just with tech, but there could be also other industries that we could, for example, add. This is naturally to expand the lead list, right? So let's say if I would just get rid of this just in full, then boom, suddenly we have 2,000 like straight away, right? Significantly bigger list, but it's not just about finding you as many leads possible, but actually it's finding you really good leads with exact match sort of criteria, right? So if you are really looking for head of growth, then we can find a lot of credit growth, and then we can naturally then filter that by industry. So whether you want to do that in chat experience or you want to, feel free to play around with the table experience, that's up to you. You can also then include a bunch of different technologies, for example, specific company keywords, whether you want to match all or not, employee size, how many years has it been in company business, and so on and so forth. So yeah, this is what we call really the V1 kind of searching across multitude of databases. So currently we have 500 million leads all across the globe. Whether you are in the US or Europe, Japan, whatever, we have leads all across the world. In some places more than others. But every month we are adding more and more data behind the scenes to essentially that will allow us to search. And by the end of the year, we expect to have access to up to 1 billion contacts for us to search across. So the coverage will become significantly even better. And naturally, the goal is, kind of eliminate the need to kind of log into different databases and maximize the coverage in your time. But instead, you would just have the search experience. So let's say we are satisfied with our search. Let's say we have 2,000, let's say, leads right now. And the typical thing, that you want to do is it kind of depends, but some people just want to export the whole list and do some stuff with it. So we'll click on the export function. It will say how many contacts would you like to export. Let's say we want to export all those contacts, but maybe you just want to export 1,000. Maybe you just want to export particular leads that you've seen here. And then that's it. So you would just click on start export, and then it does its job. So essentially what it does, it validates whether against every single actual record, actual contact, we have the right email address that we're looking for. And so we're doing what's called verification on the contact level. And again, this is to ensure we have solid data quality here in play. So it take a bit of time because this is, real data. This is not stale. So hence, there's a bit of processing in it that happens. And then it completes, and then there will be options as to where do we want actually for this to be exported. So we have a few options right now available, whether you want to export that, say, to the sales execution software. So that's being Salesforce, for example. So you can do that. You can export that as a CSV. And we're just about to add, I believe next week or the week after, also HubSpot and Salesforce as 2 CRMs. So you can push that into that. But otherwise, if there is an integration that's right now available, you can just download that as CSV and plug it, whatever it is that you need. So while this kind of happens, so it takes a bit of time because it's, as I said, real data that we're pulling live, and then there will be an option here where you can just literally export seamlessly, say, to Salesforce or the top 2 CRMs. So yeah, feel free to go ahead at this yourself, right? And you can start a new search as well if you want to. You can search for a specific search and so on and so forth. And yeah, so that's it for now. If you have any questions on this, do let me know. I'm gonna keep on finding these leads and smoking out those bad emails and all that stuff, so that we only have legit data that I'm gonna push right now into Salesforce to probably launch a sequence today. Awesome. So let's see right now. So guys, again, if you have any questions, feel free to pop them into chat, and we're gonna pick out the different questions. So yeah, feel free to do that, guys. So I already see some questions coming in from different folks, so we're gonna tackle those in a bit. So this is what we call really the product that has just come out. When it comes to kind of generally what to expect sort of next within the search engine, because right now we're just searching across multitude of databases, right? So, and then what we're doing is we are just kind of pulling those leads and then extracting those leads and giving you that and pushing that into any sending software, right? So, or giving you that as a CSV. What's coming up next is very shortly this month, we're also going to build in for you the ability to sort of query every single lead. And let's say you're either looking for specific keywords or they use specific tools, whether this company is, B2B, or whether in their pricing, it's a PLG company or SLG company. So all those questions is something that you can ask. So think of this as the, being most powerful kind of, scraper, you can call it, on every single lead that allows you really to do what's called proper qualification as well within Leadsforge. Before you would sort of push it out, right? So that naturally would reduce down, say, I don't know, from 2,000 leads that we have gotten, right, from different databases. We are then refining that list, right, with additional questions, so we can just push that out. So that's so super powerful. So lead qualification is definitely, part of the equation. You don't want to be sending essentially emails or LinkedIn messages, anything, or even cold calling, right? People that are not relevant with what is it that you're selling, right? So qualification definitely is the name of the game. Apart from the kind of general databases that you have seen, sort of that we're pulling from, we also going to add the ability to pull lookalike data. So let's say if you have, I don't know, close one account, so you closed accounts, right, in your business, and you just want to find similar accounts. That's exactly what you'll be able to do with Leadsforge later this month. Also, you'll be able to find lookalikes against contacts. So let's say, I don't know, you're gonna put in Frank into into LinkedIn or whatever, into Leadsforge, and then you want to find more Franks out there, right? So you want to find other 100 Franks that looks, well, essentially other individuals that look very similar to Frank, right? So for various different characteristics, there's also a way to do that, and that's something we're going to provide. So that's something we already have behind the scenes, and we're just kind of building that as sort of, as we speak, the engineers are working there and building that in. And then the final thing is we're also going to provide what we call company followers. So essentially people that follow that company on the internet. We're also going to provide you a followers list as well. So that's also interesting. So let's say if you have a lot of competitors, so we have, for example, gazillions of competitors out there, right? Other cool companies in sales, AI agents and stuff like that. We can literally find followers of those companies and then provide you also that list. And that's also something that we're sort of cooking up. It's a super fantastic ability sort of in the red ocean space. A red ocean meaning if you have a lot of competitors and you want to target particular competitors, and if you have a better product, more cost effective, whatever that is, you want to reach out to those followers, and many of those followers can be naturally many of those followers could be potentially clients of that business, right? So it's also an interesting targeting option, right? So we're always looking at interesting ways of finding leads, right? So you can generate, demand for your business. So that's kind of sort of stuff on the near term of what we're looking to build. I feel like, is there something that we have missed, do you think?
No, I think you did a pretty good job introducing the product. I see there are a lot of different questions. So
Cool.
maybe we can tackle a few or start tackling them.
Sure, we can
Um,
definitely do that. So yeah, quick reminder, guys, feel free to pop those questions in. We have a lot of people live right now, tuning in. So we're gonna try and pick the best ones. So we have a lot of people that are really pumped about this, and we have a lot of people joining from different parts of the world. So let's start with the first one from a person named Muzamil, I believe. Just gonna put them live. And what Aquila will do, because she was cooking up the forge, and maybe before we kind of go into this question, I'll tell you guys how we have gotten to this place before we kind of go into Q&A. So we have been building this product for quite some time, pretty much from the beginning of the year. It's been sort of cooking behind the scenes, pulling these different databases, building a lot of connections and many other things. And then we launched Leadsforge, I believe it was a couple months ago, right, Aquila? Initially?
yeah.
Yeah, about a couple months ago, and we're doing what's called stress testing. So it's literally came out of the oven, right? And we want to understand how would people perceive the product initially, and what's sort of what is missing, what's critical about it. So we did about 100 demos of the product, or we did what's called reverse demos of the actual product with about 100 people, and understood where it's lacking, what needs to happen, etc. And we got to a point essentially where we realized that it's not going to scale to hundreds of thousands of individuals. So we better rebuild the way it functions so we can accommodate right now literally hundreds of thousands of users on the software today. And so it allows us to accommodate gazillions of people. So that's what we got. So it took a couple of months sort of, to do additional engineering work. And right now we have over 500 million leads that we can access to, and we're going to be exponentially adding to about 1 billion sort of leads by the end of the year. And yeah, that's a bit of a story. So guys, naturally, we also ship other products all the time, but this was a kind of core piece, not just to power our own, either AI agent or our own customers, but also power the rest of the ecosystem with really good leads out there. So a little of a story on there. So let's go back into the questions. So Aquila is going to take those. And Aquila was a paramount in working with customers in actually getting to this stage. So she's been tackling a lot of questions already so far. So it made sense to invite Aquila on the call to actually pick some of the questions, or for us to actually tackle both. So let's do that. So Aquila, can you read the question by Muzamil?
Yeah, of course. So it's is Leadsforge using the same larger database that other existing tools in the market are using? If so, what sets Leadsforge apart from those tools? What unique value or features does Leadsforge offer the data similar to what others provide? So I can take this one, and then Frank, you can just add. So Leadsforge is a search engine, essentially. We have access to different databases. To answer your first question, it's super easy to use. You don't need to rely on multiple tools. You can just come to Leadsforge and find what you're looking for. Also, as you know, we have a lot of different forges. So one of the benefits is joining our product ecosystem, having access to the team, to other products. This product is made for people who don't necessarily want to spend a lot of time adopting the product, because sometimes that's the first thing you need to do before actually get to the part where you use the product. So Leadsforge is super easy, super intuitive. So any other value or features to mention here, Frank? Anything from your side?
No, I mean, just think of it, this guys as sort of what we typically call like Apple ecosystem, right? This is one of just products, and it's a really good product. It will get exponentially better. You will see that because we're shipping every single month something new, and it I mean, the biggest value is the ease of use. Really, a lot of leads, good leads in particular, right? Having the ability to query ultimately the whole web, for leads is really what we're trying to achieve. It's like, again, like ChatGPT or Google trying to do a real good job around you entering stuff and us really finding the stuff for you. Like it's that matching, right? So demand and supply kind of, right? So and so that's on one hand. And then the other thing that we do is when you search for something in Leadsforge, and people already search actually in different languages. So we understand that people want to search for stuff, let's say in French or German, etc. So we haven't added languages yet, but that's coming into Leadsforge as well. You'll be able to search in any language for your data. And so it's adding additional capabilities, adding capabilities that autocomplete and many other a bunch of other things. But it also, like, if there's something that's not available, let's say you're searching for something and the system says we don't actually have data on these leads, then we're gonna go and find that data on the internet, literally. So we have, naturally, there's hundreds and hundreds of databases out there, and we're just looking to understand what is really missing. So we are looking just like in Google or Google Ads, you're looking what are the search queries, what are the searches that are happening, and we're gonna go and plug those suppliers into Leadsforge to be able to always accommodate any search query, right? So you can find any person on the planet eventually. Not yet, so I don't want to say that, but it's definitely coming, and essentially there's going to be much better coverage available. But we already have 500 million is really decent. I don't know, actually, there's not that many companies that out there that have an access to over 500 million contacts for you to search across. Again, it's not just about volume or how many leads, but it's also about natural quality, and that's the fine line, right? Because again, if we are targeting the wrong people, then let's say your email infrastructure will suffer, your deliverability will suffer, etc. Right? People will be reporting you more for spam. So we're trying to figure out this problem of where people are targeting, essentially, senders are targeting really the wrong folks. And if we're able to fine tune the targeting bit, right, who is it that you're targeting, you're going to see significantly better results, significantly better deliverability, right? So you're going to generate ultimately fast, superior pipeline. Cool. So let me stop on that. So let's move on to the next question. The next question will be from Mike Bram. You want to take this one?
We sort of answered it. I mean, LinkedIn is one of the channels you can reach out to, right? So you get LinkedIn URL.
We don't use, like, we don't use LinkedIn. We're a database, and we're not a database. So the databases, maybe they use LinkedIn. We have no clue. We're just pulling from those databases the data. So we don't access sort of LinkedIn. It's not what we do. LinkedIn is not a sort of a source that we use. We just use the databases that are available out there, and how they do their data magic behind the scenes, I have no idea to this, because all of them do it differently, right? So yeah, that's the answer. So, but yeah, I would imagine, because LinkedIn is, the one of the key sources of most of these databases. LinkedIn for sure is used by default. So I would suspect that a lot of the data is actually from LinkedIn as well. So yes. Again, just to think about it, LinkedIn is here, databases, and then Leadsforge, right? There's a search engine, like ChatGPT, right? Whatever, all of them. That's where we say it. It's a bit at the top. All right. So next one comes from Frontier. Looking forward to streamlining our lead gen process. Can it filter between male, female execs or decision makers?
Not right now.
No, not right.
No, so we have some filtering options, but more advanced filtering options are not available just yet. We have lots planned for upcoming months, so watch this space.
Yeah, it's definitely. I think this specific question may apply in hire. We have a lot of companies in the recruitment space as well, and they are looking for male and female candidates sometimes for specific roles. So that may be a thing. But yeah, it has been asked actually. This week I got this question at least twice. Can we put male or female as a filter? Not yet, but we have this feedback and we're working on this. So yeah, it's like things like these, right? So we definitely want to make sure it's available. Okay, so next one, you can read it out.
Right. So, by what percentage does Leadsforge solution reduce lead costs compared to other solutions? Maybe
I
we
mean,
can
it depends
show.
on the
Uh,
solutions.
um,
But we can show definitely the pricing. I mean, we're always very transparent on everything, including the pricing. We have a pricing sheet for all products. Um, um, by the way, yeah, there's a weird thing that the pricing page sort of has disappeared on Leadsforge, but the pricing is within Leadsforge. But I'm going to show you quickly a spreadsheet, guys, where all the pricing sort of sits. 1 second, I'm just quickly going to show you that. So we have a sort of Leadsforge plan, and essentially we charge for what's called credits. Many platforms do that as well. So we don't tie you into sort of contracts, nothing like that. It doesn't make sense these days to be contracting with different databases. We believe in what we call consumption-based logic. That's what we do across all the products. And so you can essentially buy credits, and one credit right now, you're pulling email addresses. So we don't yet provide mobile numbers. Mobile numbers is also coming. It's something that's on the roadmap to inject during the summer. So we believe by August, by September, we're going to have that. But you're essentially buying credits. And the more credits you buy, the better the unit economics. I should actually put here how the unit economics so you can see that clearly. But you can see that ultimately when you spend more with us, you get for every dollar you get a lot more value, a lot more credits, and that's how it really works on our end. And on annual plans, you just get all the credits, and you get actually extra 20% in credits as well. I should do actually a better job of explaining this. But yeah, if you have any questions to this, feel free to go on the website, on the chat, or whatever. We'll send you this spreadsheet so you can have a look at Leadsforge and the pricing. Akila, anything that you would like to mention here?
on pricing specifically?
Yeah.
Well, there's one thing to mention here. You get 100 credits if you sign up today. And if you
Yes.
invite friends and colleagues, you will get more credits. So, yes.
Yeah, it's yeah. If you want to have a lot of credit, just invite a lot of friendlies into the Forge. So, next question. Let's go to that. Why is this better than Apollo? Akila?
Well, I mean, okay, my personal opinion. So I've used both Apollo and Leadsforge, and Leadsforge is more fun to use. It's very, simple. You can just chat with Leadsforge and get your, ideal customer profile. But as I mentioned before, you're part of the ecosystem, right? So don't need to you're using this tool, but you can also execute your campaigns using Salesforge. So it's very easy to move between different tools. And our goal here is to make sure that you don't have a bunch of different softwares that you don't use. You only have the ones that you actually use. So that's just my personal, slightly biased take on this question. Frank,
Let's
over
do
to you.
another bias take then. So Apollo has, I believe, like 300 million or something. So first of all, we have just generally more data available than Apollo because Apollo is a database, one of the many databases that are available out there. So we would collect gazillions of databases, and there'll be more databases. And so on one hand, as I mentioned, we already have 500 million. We're going to get to 1 billion by the end of the year leads. So it's a lot more than Apollo, a lot more coverage, a lot more that you can search around. And so it's really like a search engine, right? So so a lot more data and sort of faster way to get to your ICP, and then you can push it to the to execute somewhere, whatever you want to, whether that's Salesforce or somewhere else. There's a lot of ecosystem benefits that we're not going to go into, like if you use our whole ecosystem, and yeah, it doesn't break the bank, and really. I would say there's also some of the capabilities, let's say like company followers, for example. There will be some things that Apollo just does not have, and we do, because again, we do what we call search engine approach, because we will pull some capabilities from different providers and we will inject that. And Apollo will not have that because Apollo is a database, so it doesn't provide everything that it can. While other competitors of Apollo will provide that, and we'll take those capabilities and we'll provide those to you in a search engine format, sort of. But yeah, if you've got any questions on that, feel free to ping me on LinkedIn on Apollo. But Apollo is a great platform, has a lot of data. It's just that there's a lot more data out there that we can access to, right? So why use one database if you can access hundreds, like as an example, 100 databases. Cool. What if I already have leads in Salesforce from other sources when they duplicate?
They want. So if you add, another lead to Salesforge and there's an existing lead, it will just update it will update the email, right? So we never add any duplicates.
Cool. Next one, also from
Can I load a list of companies or names in search of that? Right. So we will be introducing the lookalike functionality. I think this month, next month. Right now, it's not available, but it's certainly on the roadmap. It's been asked quite a few times, so it's coming.
So that's both enrichment of the data is coming and lookalike. So you can again inject companies or specific contacts, and we'll be able to find lookalikes of that very soon. This month actually. So all right, next one. How about ESP? So email service providers.
Will it be shown, or should I run contact validation in Salesforge? So validation is already built into Leadsforge. So you would only export validated contacts, right? So you might find, let's say, 2,000 contacts, and after the validation, and once you export, that list might shrink because of that.
So about email service providers like Microsoft or Google, etc., we don't have that as a filter yet in Leadsforge. It's definitely as a filter that you can target by ESP. Targeting Google accounts, targeting Microsoft accounts, typically remove it. Like we always by default remove all anti-spam software companies. We don't recommend sending emails to those companies that have like Barracuda, Mimecast, etc. But yeah, that filter does not yet exist, but it's a very good idea. So we're gonna take that on board. So I'm definitely gonna put it into product roadmap. Because yeah, it's very important from a deliverability standpoint not to be messaging these individuals and potentially sending a LinkedIn message or calling them instead of sending an email. But yeah, good point here. All right, let's move on to the next one that we have. What if we already sign up? Can we still get the credits? I'm not sure which credits you mean, but you already get 100 credits by default when you just sign up. So everybody gets that, and then when you buy, you get you just buy more credits ultimately. If you end up subscribing, and then yeah, if you're inviting more individuals into the platform, then we also give additional 100 credits. So yeah, that's really how it works. And yeah, in terms of kind of so there's no other questions for now, unless guys you really want to ask us questions on this. But it's kind of very straightforward, right? So that's why we also believe we're not going to get too many questions, because it is like ChatGPT, it is like Perplexity, it's like Google. You go and search for leads, export those out, execute them, whatever you need to execute them. So yeah. So yeah. Awesome. So if
Sorry,
there's any,
we got one more question, Frank. So if you can highlight.
oh yes. Sorry.
Okay, right. What if I will need to pay for the contacts if I already have them in Salesforge? I'm not sure if we have this sort of
No, this
sync
is
or
not
not.
yet. This is not yet synced up. So yes. So yeah. Let's. So this is not yet synced up. What if I already have leads in Salesforce from other sources when they duplicate? Yeah, it's something that we still need to build out. So essentially, not to push contacts, right? So because what Salesforce does is, if you're trying to push leads into Salesforce, we will remove duplicates. And again, whether they come from Leadsforge or some other sources, right? We just don't inject them. We will update the records, right? If you have a new email address for the same contact, that's what we can do. But yeah, deduping, yeah, it will just when you're gonna push, it's not like you're gonna have the same email addresses. That is not actually possible in Salesforce. So it dedupes, right, when you push. But yeah, currently that still consumes credits, because Leadsforge doesn't know whether in Salesforge you have that lead or not. It's not sort of fully. It doesn't sync that way yet. So yeah, hopefully that answers your question. Yeah, guys, if you have any other questions, let us know. Otherwise, feel free around to go onto the website, sign up, play around with it, send us some feedback in chat, whatever. um, how you like it, what do you like to see improve. If there's something that, because sometimes people are shy, they don't want to ask a question live. There are people like that. If you feel like not asking a question live, which is totally fine, just go onto chat support, or do call us. You can also call us as well, and talk to the team, and we can discuss your particular case. We are taking feedback, and typically, if we see a pattern around specific feedback, that's how we prioritize. So, for example, we prioritize lookalike data, company followers. These have been requests that came in the most, or like qualification, and that's how we prioritize generally in the roadmap. And we ship quite fast, if some people know us. So we ship monthly. So on a monthly basis, there are significant upgrades that we introduced to most products that we're working on. But yeah, and if you, in case you're keen on explore other products, ecosystem products like Salesforge or infrastructure products or other products, do give us a shout as well. Because it is a bit more like an Apple experience rather than having different point solutions from different vendors, different invoices, and stuff like that. So it's a slightly different concept. Awesome. Thanks, Aquila, for joining. Thanks, everybody. And we shall see you around. See you on LinkedIn. That's where you can find us.
Yeah,
Cheerio.
see you guys. Bye.